part of a larger project that I've been working on for a few years now, looking at online activism, but not the same type of activism that the other presenters have been talking about. I'm looking here at what has been called new social movements. So these are, social movements that are more fluid, more loosely organized, and they are centered on lifestyle and identity issues, not so much political causes. And one of them, the one I'm looking at today, and that I want to tell you about, has spurred our curiosity because these people who are congregating around this movement are consumers, and they're using marketing offers, marketing campaigns as the material for them to achieve their goals and to reach the solutions they want to see in society, in their own groups, and in themselves, the changes they want to see in themselves. And the movement we're looking at is called the Fat Acceptance Movement. And it's a network of interconnected blogs, online communities, Twitter accounts, Facebook pages, where participants talk and discuss about the issues that are relevant for people who are fat. And they use the word in a very neutral way. They reclaim the term fat and clean it from all the negative associations that we usually see it having in society. So here for them, fat is just an adjective, just like tall, short, or thin. It doesn't mean anything else than that. So we looked at those blogs and tried to identify the assumptions of participants in this movement. And some of them are that people who are fat are discriminated, they are stigmatized in most Western societies. They also believe that the media contributes to that stigmatization by usually portraying people who are fat as unhealthy, as lazy, as a problem to society. They're usually shown in newspapers or magazines without their heads, signaling that they should be ashamed of their body shape. But participants in this movement say that being fat does not mean being unhealthy in all cases, that it is possible to eat healthy, to exercise, and still be fat for several other issues. And they also propose that diets don't work. So you may guess that the dieting industry is one of their main targets. So with these assumptions, their goals are to combat fat stereotypes, to fight discrimination against people who are fat, and to promote their rights in society, to promote self-acceptance, body acceptance. They say people come to the world in all shapes and sizes, and no one should hate themselves because of that. To promote health at every size. So they do promote exercising, eating nutritious foods, but they don't say you should do that to be thinner. And all these blogs and online communities offer participants a safe space for discussion. So they can talk about their issues, their problems, they can vent, they can criticize companies and products and offerings in a safe space where there's no diet talking. So we looked at this movement and at the most influential bloggers in this movement, and we collected data through participation and through selecting posts in their archives for 3 or 4 years. And we analyzed the data qualitatively, so we looked at the discourses, the rhetorical strategies these bloggers employ to reframe market offers and achieve 3 levels of change that they want to achieve. The first one is personal change. So these guys have tried to lose weight, they have tried several diets, they have even tried surgeries, and they saw that didn't work. So the change they want to achieve now is the acceptance, the self-acceptance. They want to feel comfortable and empowered in their own bodies, no matter what size. The second level of change is collective. They want to change their audiences. So those bloggers are writing to convince people to see the world as they see. And finally, they want to change culture. They want to achieve broader change in society. So let me just give you a couple of examples. We looked at hundreds of posts like this. here we have one. You probably remember Wall-E, the movie that was launched by Pixar and Disney a few years ago. So Disney launched it saying, this is family entertainment, it's family friendly, it's the story of a robot who had some hilarious friends, and they go in a wonderful journey in this imaginary world, so you should watch it with your kids. But it happens that in Wall-E, some of the characters that Disney say are hilarious are people who are fat, or similar to people who are fat, because this is an imaginary world in space or somewhere else. And they don't leave their chairs, they're fed milkshakes by robots, and they are always watching TV, and they look like they're stupid in some way. So the bloggers say, well, I used to like Pixar and Disney, but honestly, this is not entertaining. This is not a positive message. If Disney has been portraying proposing diversity in the company and says that this is a family-friendly message, I no longer support Disney, I no longer support Pixar. So here we see a before and after. It's coming to a realization as a blogger that not all marketing offers are as positive and as neutral as they say to be. Another example is Old Navy. It's a large retailer chain in North America of the family of Gap and Banana Republic, who at some point said, we're no longer selling plus sizes in our stores. If you want to buy plus size, you're going to have to go to the website. And they said that in a very neutral way, saying, we're sorry, we did a lot of evaluations, this was a difficult decision for us because we like you as consumers, but please no longer come to our stores. So bloggers also criticized that intensively. There was a flood of messages and discussions on the blogs about that. And here we have one blogger who says, I can still buy at Old Navy because their regular sizes still fit me, but do I want to? Knowing that they just shut the door to my friends who are plus size and cannot. And you can notice here she's using the language of the market. She's saying, are you a stupid company saying no to a $27 billion market? Why are you neglecting these consumers who are willing to buy at your store and have the money to do so? So she's saying, I'm done with Old Navy, no longer supporting the company. So you can see how this movement, although it's very identity and lifestyle based, can have big important implications for marketers and companies. So I'll just move from the rhetorical. I'm not going to go into detail in the rhetorical and discursive aspects we focused on, because I want to tell you a bit more, and I think I'll just complement what other panelists have already said about the importance of social media for movements and social mobilization. So the first point here is that social media allowed consumer activists to develop a collective identity. They could not develop a collective identity just based on the dress size they wear. But here, by blogging about it, by posting pictures of themselves in particular outfits, and this is a subsection of the fat acceptance movement, they call themselves the fashionistas. So these are ladies who wear plus-size dresses and they're interested in fashion, and they develop this community, this collective identity. Now they have something they have in common beyond their size, and they can use it to mobilize forces in the market. The second point is that because the movement is so fluid and social media allows you to have your own personal voice and still be connected to others in a movement, they can pursue individual identity projects. So we've seen bloggers who became writers and published books on the topic. We've seen others who launched their career as plus-size models. There's one particular blogger, Gabby Gregg, who used her Twitter audience as voters to become the first MTV Twitter jockey. So she also pursued her individual project within the movement, facilitated by social media. The third point is that social media allows them to get organized and act in an impactful way, even if they don't take this offline. So one example I have here is an advertisement campaign from this hospital in Georgia in the US who showed pictures of children who were fat in sad faces, as you can see. And although the goal of the campaign was to raise awareness among parents about the dangers of being fat, what they did was to suggest that fat kids should be ashamed of being fat, and that's bullying, right? That's putting pressure on children. So the bloggers immediately react, and it was not confined to Georgia or to the US, as they used the internet to raise donations, to raise funds, get donations, to create their own billboards that were posted there and saying that, warning, we stand for health in every size. Several other initiatives of the same type. So there was one website where users could get a template for the advertisements of the hospital campaign and put their own pictures there and their positive messages to kids. And this was all over the web, and the traditional media picked up on it, and the campaign, the original campaign, was down in a week or so. So they did achieve some results there. And they also used social media to celebrate and talk about those small changes, small victories that they achieve on the market. So they not only criticize marketers, they also praise those who are aligned with their goals and assumptions and who do something positive for this group. So every time a plus-size model gets to the cover of an important fashion magazine, or when an airline company stops charging 2 seats for a person who is fat, they celebrate that, they publicize, and they demonstrate their support through their network and social media. And finally, social media also allows these activists to amplify the reach of their movement. So they get the attention of social media, they get the attention of marketers, because if you think about it, these are not lead users, or these are not brand community participants or fans that marketers and companies are always paying attention to in order to satisfy their needs. These are consumers who are at the margins, who sometimes cannot get what they're willing to pay for. So here they get to align with more powerful actors in the media, celebrities, or other important actors in the field to achieve the changes they want. So I'll stop here. This project is ongoing. There's an article coming up at the Journal of Consumer Research where we look at the fashionistas, the bloggers for fashion in particular. But I'll welcome your comments and suggestions on potential future directions. I see the movement is also starting in Chile, so it would be good to compare cross-culturally. And thank you so much for your attention.